Okay, welcome back everyone. Today is Tuesday, day 2 of week 2. It is the day before the exam. We're still going to do algorithms and then do some exam prep after this. So let's go ahead and get started. All right, so a little bit of review first. What are objects? I mean, you're looking at one right now, but what is an object anyway?
An object can be a container of different types of data, but it can also be one that has a key and an index, sort of like an array, how we have an index, and then we also have the data information inside of it. But an object in this case, it would be a key that's related to a piece of data.
Right. And how is data in an object stored?
And the key and a value thing.
Key value pair, right?
Yeah.
So what is name, for example, in this case?
That's a key.
Okay, and so then Bulbasaur would be the value. And so you can have different values. You can have an integer, you can have a string, you can have an array of strings here. So how would I want to, what's this first question here? Using the monster variable above, how could we access the name? Type it in the chat if you know it, please. Monster.name, right. So you access the value by typing in the key name. So monster is the name of the variable, which is the object. And then we say we want to access the name. We want to access Bulbasaur. So we say monster.name. Okay. Now, someone else tell me, how can we access the second type of the types here of the monster?
Would that be
Nice, Nicholas. Yep. Monster.types. You have to type it correctly. So Matthew, close. You missed the S though. Not that I'm docking you, but the system would if you try to console log it. Just by one letter off, it's gonna not react the right way. VS Code might tell you, did you mean this? And then you can change it, but remember, it's very case sensitive. So right, okay, so it's good that we refresh on this because today's activities, we're gonna be looking a little bit deeper into this here. Okay, so can objects be stored in an array?
Yes.
Yes, as you can see here, this array of Pokemon has lots of objects. Okay, and as you can see, we have the same structure as we did for the original monster, but let's see here. We have an ID, which is an integer. We have name, which is also a string. And then we have types. And in these types, we see an array of strings. For example, Bulbasaur is poison and grass. But if you look at Charmeleon, the one below, it's fire here. And it's just one string and the array. Can anyone tell me why that is? Why would we only store one value here when it's you're putting an array here to hold a string? It seems a little bit redundant. So what's the point of doing this?
So you can add more values to it.
Okay, good. That's one reason. And any other reasons?
Is it just the consistency of the structure of calling it?
Exactly. That's it. We want to keep it consistent because if we want to access the types, and if there's only one type, there may be more than one type, as you see in the other ones, but some may just have one type. So we want to keep it consistent. If we want to access the types, we're gonna have to know that it's in an array, and maybe the array only has one value, and that's all right because we know that at least we have to access the array. We're not going to guess if there's an array or not, or otherwise. So we know always that types is going to be in an array, even if there's only one type. Okay. Well, why is dragon air a dragon, not charmeleon? Why come charmeleon isn't a dragon? I don't know. It doesn't matter to me. Okay. If we wanted to console log the names of the Pokemon who have an ID greater than 99, for example, I mean, we're looking at the answer here, but we need to see how this is done. Okay, so we're going to loop through this whole array of Pokemon in a for loop, just as we would any list here in a for loop. We go var I equals 0. If I is less than Pokemon.length, and it does have the hyphen or this I don't know what you call this in English here, accent on the E. If I is less than Pokemon.length, I plus plus, and then if Pokemon, and then we say the place, the integer place in the array, .id. That's how we access the position in the array, and then the key value. We want to get the value here, so we put the key name is greater than 99. So what this would do is it would read the array and everything greater than 99. So everything from Kangaskhan to Dragonair is going to get logged in the console. And we also have to say Pokemon, and then at the array position, we want the names here of all of them that are greater than 99. So we say Pokemon array position dot name, and that's how we access that. Okay. Are there any questions here? Do we have any questions about how this works? How we can access object key value pairs inside an array of objects? Okay, so then let's get some feedback here. Let's our level of understanding for this specific type of thing. So again, we're going through the list. This is just a list because it's an array here. We know it's an array because of this bracket. And then we see in the array, there's a bunch of objects. For the piece of data that we want, or the type of data we want, we're just saying Pokemon, and then the array position. As we iterate through the array, if that ID is greater than 99, so it's going to access all these IDs here, these values of the IDs, we're going to console log the value of the name. So everything from 115 to 148, we're going to access the name, Mr. Mime, Eevee, Articuno, so on. Okay. So now we are going to pair up in groups. I'm going to make the groups a little bit small here to give us a challenge. And we are going to go through these challenges, and we also have the bonus challenge as well. So there's 5 total. All right, so I'll go ahead and get you guys split up. Enjoy this challenge.
Hey, I may actually join the PB sync, and it's actually going to be at 9:30. Let me see, 9:30 MST. Oh, okay. So it's during lecture, so I probably will go there during
I
the.
was probably, well, I guess I can just get the information from you. Probably.
Yeah.
Up to you guys. If you guys need to leave and see it, then there's no worries. I can take the
I think I'm not even on the invite for it, so I guess
I
I'll
can
just
send it
get
to
the
you. I can send an
information.
invite to you because if you are going to shadow
Oh, because I'm with Josh again next month in Web Fund and PB
Oh, okay.
combined. So
Yay!
at least that's what I heard last. It could change at any moment, but that's what I
Okay.
heard.
Well, you're invited, even if you're not.
So
So
it would be
in that
helpful to have that information at the very least.
Yeah.
So in that case, maybe it's easier that like maybe Christian, you can also go to that meeting. I can send you the link, and maybe in that case, Josh, you may have to open the breakout rooms by yourself. So my advice is like during the break, like 10 minutes break, you open it first. I mean, you create a room first.
All right.
So
Good
when you
idea.
finish lecture, you can just like open it easily.
Good idea. Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay.
Are you okay without Christian during the lecture?
I don't know. I might fall on my face flat.
Yeah, be fine. You'll be fine. I
Fine.
mean, it's because you're doing the demo, right? The bell prep demo.
Hold on. We will find out. All right, guys, we're back. So did any group get all of them? Even the bonus?
You
think
still
we
have
did.
5 seconds. The rooms are still being closed. Okay, now everyone is back.
All right, now that we're all back, I want to see if a group is willing to present they got all of them. And I'm gonna pick on the group, see if I can find any details that need to be improved. So let's take a look here. Any group want to volunteer?
We can do it.
Dia? Okay. Let's see your group's work.
All right, let me just okay. I'll start from the top.
Okay.
Okay, so this is our array for the first one.
Okay.
All right. So for our first question, we did the for loop if the Pokemon index I with the modulus 3 equals 0, we cancel log it.
So we're checking the Pokemon's objects whose ID is evenly divisible by 3.
Correct. If
Okay.
it is, it'll print it. So we have all of these.
Okay. That's
Okay.
good. Hold on, let's go through this slowly. Does anyone have any questions about how they did this one? Anyone have any doubts about how the modulus symbol works?
I have a question on how the module sensor works. How does it work?
So the modulus symbol checks if it can be divisible. For example, in this case, we have Blastoise. So let's look at Blastoise on the list. Blastoise, the ID number is 9. So when we use the modulus symbol, scroll down again, we're asking if it's evenly divisible by 3 without any remainders. So 9 is divisible by 3, and you won't get any remainders after you divide 3 into 9. But if, for example, let's say Blastoise had an ID number of 10, 3 would go into 10 3 times. 3 times 3 is 9. And there would still be one integer left over after you divide 3 into 10. So when you use the modulus symbol, you're saying ID, check all the IDs who are divisible by 3 and have no remainders. That's why we're saying equal to 0. Does that make sense? If
Yeah,
not,
it makes perfect sense. Thank you.
okay. If we, for example, if the ID was 10 and we said modulus 1, then we would get that result back because we would have a 1 left over. And any other number that 3 divides into and has that remainder of 1, we would get that result. We're just checking all of them that are easily divisible by 3 in this case.
Awesome. I can go through the for loops if you guys want me to as well.
Okay.
So for the second one, we wanted anything. We wanted. Let me pull up the thing. Okay. So we wanted to console log the objects that have more than one type. Okay. So when we call the type, so we run the for loop again. When you call the type, we use dot types and dot length because we want to get the length of the types. So if it's more than one, we would console log it. If it's one, we wouldn't console log it. Okay. So this is what we did here. If Pokemon at index I, we go into the object the key types. If its length is more than one, we console log it, and we can run it. So it would give us all of these. We can always check, for example, tentacle has 1, 2, so that's right. Okay.
Okay. So
Question
yep.
question on this though is that we wanted to console log the whole object though, right?
For number 2, we're the Pokemon objects that have more than one type. So we should console log the whole object. It doesn't specify to console log the name. So Peter's right.
Okay.
We want to console log the whole object.
So
And
I
that
can
would be
do-
for number 1 as well.
yeah. So you can just basically do this. Awesome.
Yeah, but don't forget the parentheses after you deleted the parentheses on that one you just deleted.
Oh yeah.
Okay. So in this case, the instructions do say objects, but for the next one, number 3, we're just console logging the names. So let's see how we do number 3.
Okay. So for 3, we're console logging the names of the Pokemons whose only type is poison. Okay. So you would wanna go into the for loop, the Pokemon at index I, at the key types. Poison has to be one of them. Only type has only one type. So even if it has let's say poison and fire, it wouldn't print that.
Okay.
Because the only type is poison.
Okay. So let's check that.
So we save it, we run it, Erkins in our book, and if we go up, Erkins has type poison, our book has type poison.
Okay. Let me do a trick question for you guys. I'm gonna throw you a curveball right now. How would you console log all the Pokemon types that have poison, whether it's their only type is poison or not?
It would be an I. We would
Okay,
put
so
in
you're checking Pokemon and I's types.
Well, if you do that, you got to think about I is the index for iterating through the Pokemon length, not through the types array, right? And so that's going to be out of bounds for most of those types.
Then
you'd have to loop through all the different types, like essentially add another loop in there to go through the types, right?
That's one way to do it. Okay.
Can you put the dot notation to access the values that have that given, like the poison, or at least one of them, or no?
Yeah, so you would do types. So I did work with one of the groups on this. So did you guys want to share how we did this one?
So we use the or statement, so it'd be the 2 lines, and then you basically just retype it, but from Pokemon I, you want to set types to 0 for one of them, and then for the other one, you want to set Pokemon types to 1.
That's one way to do it in this case, because we know that they only have 2 types, so we can make an or statement that says if position at 0 is poison, or if at position at 1. And how do we write an or statement in JavaScript?
Oh, sorry.
It's two straight lines.
Yeah. Okay.
It's above
Oh,
the
It's above the
enter
enter key.
right.
Right.
Okay. But how can we say, can we not write it in one code that says,
There is a way. There's multiple ways to do this exact same sort of interaction.
yeah,
Right? Arrays have a method called includes, so you could check if the string Python is included in the types array. There's also the in operator. There's lots of ways of doing it.
did you say Python?
No,
You meant
JavaScript.
poison.
Okay.
Yeah.
That was, okay.
Yeah, so yeah, JavaScript has the includes method for arrays. So you can check if an
Okay.
element is included in the array. There's also the in operator that can check if content is inside of an object, and arrays are an object as well. So either of those approaches could work.
I see. Okay.
Right. That would be more efficient way to do that, because let's say a Pokemon has hundreds of poison types. You're not going to just check position 0 and 1.
Yeah.
So you would use the includes.
Yeah.
But let's not worry about that. Let's go to question 4.
Okay. Question 4, they're asking first they want the first type council log the first type of all the Pokemons whose second type is flying. Oh, so here we're checking if the second type is flying, we're council logging the first type. So here instead dot type 0.
Oh, you have 2 dot.
Yeah. So if
Make
it's
sure that you add the
flying-
S, by the way. Types.
yeah. So if it's flying, for example, like the second type here, Pidgey, it would council log normal. So bug, normal, ice, electric, fire. Yeah.
Right. Okay.
And then the bonus question. Okay. So just ignore the commented ones. We're just experimenting. So for here we're asking, it asks council log the reverse of the names of the Pokemon whose only type is poison. So here, for example, the only type Archons in our book, we want to council log them, but they're reversed. We want to reverse and council log them.
Let's
So
delete the console logs, the commented code for now, so we can all understand this without any distractions here. So
Okay.
could you delete that, please? Thank you. Sorry.
Actually don't need it.
Okay, great.
Okay, so now we have the same for loop, and we're checking if the Pokemon at index I type equals poison. We're initiating a function. Okay, and that function, what it does is that it takes the Pokemon at index I name, for example, Archons or whatever it is, and it puts it into this function. We created a new variable in this function with an empty string, and we loop through that variable. So for variable, the for loop, what it does is that it loops from the length of the string, which is this, what we got from this if statement. So for example here, Ekans, it's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. So it's the length is 5, but we decrease it by 1 because you would wanna, because then you do indices. So from 4 until -0. So we loop from I equals 4 until I is less or bigger than 0, and we decrease 1 each time. And so every time we go into this for loop, we add to the new string the string index I. So for example, so index 4, the letter is S. So we add S to this new string. So this new string becomes S. And then we go back at I equals 3. Index 3 is N. We add N to the new string, and so on. And then R equals 2. Index 2, it's A. We add A. And then at 1, it's K. We add K. At 0, it's E. We add E.
Okay.
Okay. And then we cancel log the new string. And here we just initiated the string. We invoked the function with whatever we got here. So instead of, you remember how we had here cancel log the Pokemon I name. So instead of cancel logging it, we invoked the function with whatever we got here.
Right.
So
Okay.
if we run it, snake and cobra.
Nice.
But here we could have done, we could have added like a dot lower function so we can make everything lowercase.
Okay, that's not necessary for now. That's a great job. So what we have here is two functions put together. We have one that checks for poison and another one that reverses a string, and then they combine them together, and that's what we get. We get all the poison only types that and then we reverse their names. So we get snake and cobra. Cool. Does anyone have any questions about how we did this? Don't be shy to ask. Okay. All right, guys. Let's get a feeling of how we can, let's get a 1 through 10, how we can iterate through an array of objects and then checking those objects, getting the results. Okay. It's not a bad number. So what we'll do now is we'll go over some test material. We'll figure out how to put together another page, and it'll be a good review. So let's meet in 10 minutes from now. So it'll be 10:24 Mountain Time.